exhale, squeeze them down. Good, one more time. Good. Now let's take the feet about shoulders distance or a little wider, arms on your sides here, the sides of your legs. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, side bend. Good. Inhale, back up and just feel your feet planted there. Exhale, other way. Feel the texture of your clothing. Good. All right. Now, next time you come up to the center, let's put a little bend in the knees. You might want to take them closer. It just depends on your body, how you feel. And this hula hoop, the hips. Good. And then hula hoop in the opposite direction. Good. And then come back to the center here. And we're going to take our feet wide. So I'm just going to get my blanket out of the way. I'm going to step your feet wide, setting up for a warrior two pose. Okay, so feet wide. Let's see, I'll mirror you. So open up your left foot to the side and kicking back your right heel here. And then let's inhale, straighten the front leg. And exhale, bending the front knee. We'll take the arms out. Good, and repeat. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, when you take your arms out to the side, let's keep the palms up and don't bring the hands as high as the shoulders. Keep them lower than the shoulders. And let's keep the elbows soft, actually. So you're not trying to straighten the arms, just everything is soft. Good. Good. Now from here, now you could always use a chair here for this too, but see if it feels okay to bring your forearm to your thigh. And I'm going to show a couple things here. So I had to widen my feet left to right in order for me to come down without, if mine were too close, I'd see how I'm like rounded through here, right? So I want to widen my feet so that I've got more of this straight line. Okay, just because that's what we're going for here in this position. We're opening up the chest. Now, if that feels like you can't feel comfortable doing that, you could just kind of lean onto your hand if that doesn't hurt, okay? Or even take a chair behind you or something, okay, like that. All right, so from here, what we're gonna do is inhale, take the hand behind your head if that doesn't bother your neck or shoulder, and open up the elbow. Yeah, it's almost like you're trying to turn your chest toward the ceiling. And then exhale and around the spine and bring the elbow down and tuck your chin down. And my elbow is coming down toward my other forearm or wrist. Doesn't have to go that far. And you might start to lose your balance. Inhale, open back up. Just the amount that you want to here. And exhale, round. Jaw relaxed, face relaxed. Notice if you're clenching your front toes. See what it feels like to release that. So if you were doing this on your hand, it'd be the same thing. You could also do this with just your hand on your hip if it hurts behind your shoulders. Good. Now next time you open up, let's just bring your hand to your hip. Good. And roll the shoulder back. Good. Opening up your chest. Inhale. And as you exhale, looking down at your front foot, pressing into the heel, rise back up, straightening the front leg. Inhale, can you reach the front arm up toward the ceiling? You can look at it if you want to, or you could look down towards your back foot. Exhaling there. Inhale. Good. And then exhale, bring the arm down and swivel your feet to the other side. You're kicking that back heel back. You're opening up that front knee if it feels okay to do so. Foot turned out to side. And then inhale, straighten the leg, and exhale, bend. Warrior two. Good. A couple more. Good. And then you can hold it if that feels all right. And coming into side angle pose. So again, you might need to make it wider. You could always keep your hand on your hip. You could always lean onto your hand. Okay. If it feels all right to take the hand behind the head, you can do that. We're going to inhale, opening up the chest and elbow, and then exhale, round around. So it's just like what we did on our backs, but with a different position. And don't go into any shoulder pain here. You can make any adjustments that feel good to you. Right? You're not forcing anything. Good. Now, next time you open up here, and just take the hand to the hip. Good. Looking down on your front to your front foot, press into the heel and exhale, press up and straighten the front leg. And then inhale, you can reach that front arm up. You can let that back arm just rest down. And you could look up if it feels good on the neck, or down or somewhere else. And taking a couple breaths there. Good, and then slowly release. Bringing the arm down, you can turn the feet parallel and then wiggle them closer together. And just stand for a moment. Noticing your 2 feet on the floor, noticing your shoulder blades down your back. Good, inhaling and exhaling. Good. Let's do some tree pose. Now, if you know you want balance support, try to take that balance support behind your back. So it'd be more like this, where you could put your fingers there if you wanted, rather than at your side today. And you could also choose, I'm going to look out my window here. You could choose to look out a window if you want to. And as you come into it, first, let's work with the eyes a little bit. Okay. So first, just looking out in front of you and softening your eyes. Keep breathing, okay? So notice if you're holding your breath, keep breathing. And feel for bringing in more of your periphery, the peripheral vision, as you soften your focus. Softening your forehead. What this helps to do, other than change the muscles of the eyes that you're using, is it is part of your parasympathetic nervous system when your eyes are not hyper-focused, when they're softer. It's like a message to your brain that things can be calmer, that things can be more relaxed. Okay. Now, getting ready to balance, you can keep your eyes in the same spot or you can change them. And you're just going to bring one of your knees forward, and then if it feels okay, you can turn it out if that doesn't bother anything. Now, when you do that though, can you not sit into the standing like hip? So instead of shifting over like this, can you stay upright? And it's okay if that means you need to hold on behind you, right? You can keep your foot low, or you can bring it higher up to the calf or the inner thigh. And you might want to bring your palms together, or take them up toward the ceiling or out at the sides. Really try to engage your standing leg glute as you do this. And follow your breath in and follow your breath out, softening your vision. Good, and then stepping down. And just try to notice if there's anywhere you can kind of step side to side, shake it out a little bit. Notice if there's anywhere where you're getting tight or tense as you're trying to balance, and just feel for kind of softening any of that extra tension and just bringing the tension into the muscles that need to be engaged. Okay, now let's go to the other side, softening your eyes, getting whatever you're looking at to help you balance. And inhale, stand tall. And then exhale, bringing the other knee forward and then maybe turning it out at any height. Okay. Again, any arm position can be palms together, arms out, or arms up. And just notice if you're breathing, if you're standing up through your center, relaxing tension in shoulders, jaw, anywhere else. Good. And then slowly coming down when you're ready. Kind of shake out your legs a little bit. Shake out your arms a little bit, and then you might swing and twist here. Look behind you if you want to as you swing around. Good. All right. Now we're going to come back in front of our chairs, and you can either roll up your mat or you can use a rolled up blanket, but it needs to be really firm if you're going to use a blanket. Okay, because we're going to be putting our toes up it and our heels on the ground. You could also use a block for this. I might need to do that because this might not be a big enough stretch for me. We'll see. Okay, so you get it. Your roll. Actually, maybe I'll use this roller. Okay. Then come in front of your chair seat and place the roll that you've made with your blanket or your towel and place it below the balls of your 2 feet. So I'm going to take, this is going to be a little tricky. Heels down, toes up. Right? Whew. Yeah, this is going to be a good one for me. Okay, so like I'm already getting a stretch. You want to feel a little bit of a stretch when you're standing. So that's how you know you've got your roll high enough. And then look down at your feet and see, are your feet pointing straight forward? They might be pointing out. So you want to try to put them forward, okay? And then you're going to try to keep your legs totally straight. So like for me, this is actually a little too high now, this roller. Okay, no, I can do it. So I'm going to try to keep my legs straight and take my hands down to the seat of the chair without bending the knees. And ideally, I guess you're working toward not rounding the spine either. So you're trying to tilt that tail up. Back of your neck is open, so you're just looking down at your chair seat. And hopefully you're feeling a calf stretch here. And now let's go really slow with our breathing, following your breath in, maybe for a count of 4. Out for a count of 6. Try to relax your neck. In fact, it'll probably help if you relax your neck to just change it a little bit. The key here is to try to calm your nervous system with that slow breath. You might just look at your knees and see if they're turned in or turned out. And remember, you're trying to tilt your tail up, so you're not rounding your low back in this. I think if you had like a big fluffy tail, your tail would be pointing up toward the ceiling. Good. Now from here, you can soften the knees to help you come up. You might need to, if you're on something really high like me, you might actually have to come off of it first, bend the knees and rise, and then inhale, reach your arms up toward the ceiling. You can bring your palms together if you'd like, and then exhale, bringing your hands down in front of your chest. Nice. And just pause for a moment here. You can let your arms come down or you can keep them here. And just notice how you feel on your feet. Like notice where you're standing on your feet. You might just shift your weight around a little bit. And then bringing your weight just slightly forward so it feels like your center of gravity is coming over the arches a little bit more, so a little forward, and let your behind be behind you, so you're not pushing your hips forward, right? And your legs are straight, but not overly straight. Shoulders relaxed. And then press down through the ball of the big toe and the ball of the pinky toe and the center of your heel. And follow your breath in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and again. And then slowly let your arms come down when you're ready. Notice how your hands feel, your fingers, your face, and your jaw. Good. Okay, we're going to have a seat in our chair for a moment. So if you need to arrange that at all, you can. Okay. And your feet flat on the floor. Okay. And your toes are just pointing forward. And you're trying to sit up upright like that, right? I'm just forward. Okay. Good. And now inhale here and exhale. You're going to turn your head to look to one side. And look as far as you can to that side with your eyeballs. And notice what you see. Keep breathing, of course. Notice what you see over there with your eyes. Let's get a reference point for later. Good. And then come back to the center. Notice like if you had any tension, where you felt it, everything else, okay? And now we're going to turn, so we're going to be twisting toward that same side, okay? Not the other side, the same side. And you can just put your hands, you can either put them on your belly or in front of your belly. You're going to feel like you're turning your belly to the side. Now watch me for a second before you do it. So I'm going to go to that same side. And notice my chin and nose are staying. So I'm not turning my head around like that. It's like I'm staying everything the same, and I'm trying to turn my belly button to that side, but not my head separately. Okay, got it? 5 times. So you'll inhale, exhale, turn to that side, just as far as you can, and inhale back. Remember, don't turn your head, okay? Just to the one side. So it's not going to be very far, okay? Chin stays line up right in the center. Okay. Good. And then come back to the center. And now you're going to place your hands on your chest. Now, if you want to, you could also do this, and that's just would be to hold your head, to keep your head from turning, because your head's going to want to turn. You don't have to. You can put them just right on your chest, okay? The idea is now we're turning our chest to that side, with the focus being there on the exhale 5 times, okay? And you're just coming to the center. You're not going to the other direction. Just the center. And you're exhaling on the turn. Okay. And then when you come back this time, you just put your hands down. Now we're going to turn just the head to that direction. Same direction 5 times. Okay, you can turn on the exhale. Remember, you're only coming back to the center. You're not turning to the other side. Good. And then come back to the center. And now you're just turning your eyeballs to that. So your nose is staying forward. And your eyeballs are going to look to that same side and back to center 5 times. Okay. Now we're going to turn the head back to that side again like we did in the beginning, and we're just going to notice if there's any difference in how it feels or in how far you can look with your reference point. So you're going to turn your head to that side and then turn the eyeballs around. Oh, yeah. And mine still feels pretty stiff, but I can see like a lot further over to the side. Now, and then you can come back to the center. It may or may not have changed things for you, but it might have, right? So it's just, this is training the whole spine to work together. So it's working neuromuscularly here to kind of, and working with your brain. That's the neuro part, to just have your whole spine supporting, so it's not just your neck that's turning things, okay? And we're going to do the other side. So first, we're going to turn your head to the other side and hold there, keep breathing. And then turn your eyeballs as far as you can to that side as well, and notice where you can see on the wall back there or whatever's behind you. Keep breathing. And then come back to the center. Okay, and we'll start with turning the belly button. Remember, trying to keep your nose lined up with your midline here as you turn your belly to that same side 5 times. You can turn on the exhale. Okay, and then it's going to be the chest. Again, you can hold your chin if you want, or just put your hands on your chest as a reminder. Again, 5 times to that same side, moving on the exhale, or twisting on the exhale. And think about like if you had a flashlight on your chest that you're trying to turn to the side. Good. And then just the head. Shoulders stay square to the front. Okay, and now everything stays square to the front, and it's just your eyeballs that turn to the side, or that look to the side. Okay, And now we're going to go back to the check. So you turn your head to that side and your eyeballs as far as you can. And for me, on this side, I get just a little more range, not as dramatic as the first side, but a lot less stiffness actually. Good. And then come back to the center. Just close your eyes for a moment. Feel your hands on your lap, relaxing through your shoulders and jaw. Feeling the top of your head as though when we balance a blanket on the top of our head, feel like you're doing that right now. Your neck is getting long and you're reaching the top of your head toward the ceiling as you feel where you're making contact with the floor and chair. And let's take a long exhale. So a big inhale, a wide inhale. And a long exhale. And you can use pursed lips or you can use Ujjayi breath. Good. And then if your eyes are still closed, just opening them and just spiral, draw a spiral with your nose. So as you start to circle your nose around, and every time you go around, you could get a little wider if it feels okay. When you get to, as wide as you want to go with your own neck, then reverse it. And now each circle is drawn inside the other one. So you're spiraling in toward the midpoint. Keep breathing. Good, until you get right into the middle. Good. Let's widen the knees and just bring your elbows or your forearms down to your thighs. And if it feels okay to let your chin drop, then do. And then if you want to, you could bring the hands down to the floor inside the feet, if that feels okay in your body. You can also, of course, stay up on your forearms. Good. Now inhaling and reaching your chest forward. Exhaling, taking your elbows or your forearms to your knees. Got a couple options here. You could lift up first, so you come up a little higher. I'm going to show this from the side. Okay, so you could come up first and then lift up and squat, or you could stay here and lift up like this. Yeah, you bring your shoulder blades down your back. Back of your neck is open, so you're just looking at the floor. Good. Good, and then exhale, slowly pressing down through the feet and stand. And then inhale, let's reach the arms up toward the ceiling again. And exhale, let's bring them out to the sides and down. And you can bring them to your hips if that feels okay on your hands. And just inhale and roll the shoulder heads back. Engage your glutes. Good. And exhale, release. Now, if you don't have stuff in your way, and you have space behind you, I'm going to have to move mine out of the way before I do this. But if you've got space in your space, you could just fold forward and start coming down to the floor, okay? If you're like me and you need to move stuff, just do it mindfully, right? It's a little loud, but there we go. Okay. And then make your way down to the floor. You can hang out in a forward fold for a few breaths if you want to, and then come down. We're going to come onto our backs with the knees bent. can use any props you want to. Have blankets close by if you want. Move your shoulder blades away from your ears. And just take a couple of breaths here with your hands on the part of your belly where it meets the rib cage. And as you inhale, let's focus, instead of on the umbrella breath, let's focus more on a belly breath. So as you inhale, the belly rises. And as you exhale, it falls back. Good. Nice. And now let's bring the right knee in. And I'm going to lift the foot up so the sole of the foot is facing the ceiling as best as it can, but with the knee bent. So can you take your right hand and wrap it around the outside of the right knee behind it, and that's where you can hold. And then bend the knee so that the thigh starts to come more towards your belly and your chest if you can. And so it's like you're doing a lunge on the ceiling. Now you might, if you're more mobile, be able to reach up with your right hand on the outer shin and hold there, or even the outer foot. And you could also straighten out the left leg on the floor if you wanted, if that felt better to you. Okay. Now, if any of this, you can play around with it and see how it works best for you. Don't force it. If you're straightening out the left leg, see if you can get that left leg really straight. Following your breath in and out. And you might start to, so I was getting a little pinchy as my knee is coming more to my armpit. So now I'm taking my knee outside toward the floor, still with it bent, still with the foot facing the ceiling. Good. And then exhale, come back toward the center, bring the foot back down towards your hip. And then placing the foot on the floor, inhale. And exhale, let's bring the left knee in. And you can just hold behind it with the left hand. So the knee is going to stay completely bent. So it's going to be at 90-degree bend. And then see if you can bring the foot, sole of the foot toward the ceiling more. That feels okay. And you can hold up on the outer shin or ankle or outer foot if you want to. You can straighten out the right leg if you want to. If you are straightening the right leg, feel like you're trying to press the back of the leg toward the floor. And breathe. Shoulder blades away from ears. You could always take it a little wider with the knee coming out to the side a little bit, but still foot facing ceiling. Long, slow breaths. Good. And then release. So bringing it back to center a little bit, hand behind knee, foot toward hip, and then lowering it to the floor. And now we'll bend the right knee next to the left. And inhale, bridge pose. So you can place the arms however you want. You can do any kind of bridge pose that you want. You can come up and down, or you can hold it. You can try to open the chest more. Good. Pressing into the balls of the big toes. Back of the head, so your chin comes away from your chest. Good, and then slowly lower down. And you might like to windshield wiper a little bit, or knees to chest. You might also prefer a figure 4 stretch. Just kind of moving through a couple of finishing postures. And I'll just talk you into a resting position, and then I'll let you go because I realize we're a little bit over time. I think my clock was a little slow. So just getting yourself into a comfortable resting position whenever you're ready to, okay? So if you're still doing some finishing postures, that's fine. Are you taking a sigh or two once you get there? Noticing yourself on the floor. And where could you let go of tension right now? Noticing how you feel now compared to when you began your yoga practice. And staying here for as long as you have time for today. Just taking your time, allowing yourself to practice resting.